Good evening, everybody. My name is Jody Levitt. I am a professor at Purdue Global. I am part of the Purdue Global, one of the clubs called the Public Safety Club. And this is our first of 3 events on Tuesday evenings, Getting a Job in Public Safety, Part 1, Preparing for the Career. I'm also a full-time faculty. We are very excited to have you as part of our group, and I will be handling the first part with also my co-worker, which is Professor Jack Gibbons, who is also on video. And then we will be in breakout rooms, and we will be having a full-time faculty, an alumni from Purdue Global, and a former president, Dylan Fleming, and also we will be having one of the very active people from our career services, Miss Tanya Evans, and she's from Center for Career Advancement, and I will be, she will also be introducing herself at the end of our time together. So I'm anxious to get started. And this is our first slide, and this is the first of 3 events, like I said, and this is preparing for the career. How exciting that is. And many of our students are not quite at the stage of preparing. I noticed that some of my students as well are in this event tonight. And sometimes you're absolutely not even at the beginning stages. You're just concerned with your education. But even in your intro classes, which I teach, one of them is preparing to become a successful student in criminal justice. It is always good to start networking and communicating, researching, being part of social media, organizing, and we have a lot of organizing in our school in Purdue Global, volunteering, mentoring, and also starting your resume. There are many different areas where you can get started with all of these things in your intro classes, and also on the Purdue Global homepage. We have a career network site and career advancement. As you know, we have always the professors put an area for students to be mentored by a student who has already taken the class, a previous student, a prior student to the class. There are many different areas where your professors talk to you about volunteering, and also on the Purdue homepage. I spend a lot of time talking about volunteering in different areas wherever you are interested. And so do all my colleagues do, no matter what class that you're in, and on whatever level that you're interested in, county, local, state, federal, private, military, wherever you are. And there's virtual volunteering as well. So it's always a wonderful thing to do, is to get started, even if you are not sure how you want to prepare for your career. Most of you are very, very aware of social media, different areas of social media that interest you. And there's many different avenues that you can take. Some of the different publications are a fantastic way to reach out in criminal justice and are very reasonable for students. One of them is the International Association of Chiefs of Police, and my colleague will put it in, Professor Gibbons will put it in the chat box. It's called short for IACP, and it's a very reasonable way to reach out and for students to become more involved. He will also be putting in the OJJDP, the Office of the Juvenile Justice and Delinquency Prevention, which is a free website, which actually is fantastic for students to become involved in networking, communication, in seminars. And many different areas in corrections as well. So those are just a few, and you can, you'll always be able to reach out to myself, my colleague, who will be putting our emails in the chat box as well. And hopefully I have you and all of our colleagues do as future students, and we will talk about that as well. Resume we'll be talking about briefly, but there's also a way on the Purdue Global homepage for you to get started and to set up a profile, and that is with the Career Network right on the Purdue homepage. That's a fantastic way for you to start expanding your knowledge about resumes, about different jobs, about some of the different ways that you'll be preparing for your future career. Even in our intro classes, there are many opportunities to conduct research. Although the CJ100 class, one of your first classes, preparing to become a successful student, is often, we go over most of the basics in that class, and time management and scheduling, and we want to move you successfully into your future classes. There are still many different areas where we talk about ways that you can research and become involved and just increase your knowledge about all the different areas of the pie: police, courts and corrections, and private work, and military as well. So, Professor Gibbons, you didn't have your hand up. Did you want to add to that slide?
No, I'm good, thank you.
Good. We're going to move forward. It's interesting to talk about all the different what, why, where, how, and when. And sometimes it could become very overwhelming just to even think about answering all those questions, especially in your early stages of preparing for a career. But it's important. It's very important. And some of the students, I won't give a percentage, but many are very passionate about what they want to do in the future. So even in some of the intro classes, there are many that do know what they want to do and have since they're for many years, let's just say. Some are even already in their careers, which is fantastic. So wherever you are and whatever you're doing, there's always a way to fit in the timeline of trying to plan, even in the initial stages, for things that you're interested in. So, for example, your vocational plans and aspirations, you may have started out in your intro classes knowing exactly what you wanted to do for many years, and all of a sudden, some of your professors, some of your colleagues introduce other areas of interest, and you put a question mark there. And we have a lot of different areas during the 10 weeks that we're together in some of our intro classes to think about other areas as well. So unbeknownst to many, it's not so uncommon to switch your interests, to switch your plans. It's not so uncommon to switch even after you have a career. So keep the door open. Don't keep it closed. Some of you may, like I said, know exactly what you want to do, and that's fantastic just to follow through with that as well. So it really does, it depends. It really does. So when we talk to you about preparing, you may be in the very initial stages, and you may not even want to talk about it until you have a few terms or even more under your belt. Or, you may be at that stage where you're definitely deciding on what you want to do, and you have that future plan in mind, and you're going to go for it, and you're going to start out at an entry level and move forward. Some may already be in their plans and maybe switching to different area in criminal justice or outside of it. Military as well. They may still have a commitment, may follow through, stay in the military, or possibly know when your time is up and you're going to move forward. Maybe government work. Often that is the case. Depending, all of these things can overlap, can definitely help you decide, and personal interest is one of them. You may have had a personal interest for your entire life. Maybe you're even following in the footsteps of a relative, of a friend, possibly even changing your mind. Interpersonal family commitments as well. Again, I'm going to ask my colleague, would you like to add to that slide? I think maybe on interpersonal.
The only thing I could really add is I would highly advocate, especially when you're taking your classes, one of the things you should consider is where you may move throughout the field. If you have any type of interest in turning around and, say, becoming a supervisor, take those as electives, okay? Because you just don't want to stay in one particular point in criminal justice. You always want to keep moving up. Thank you, Professor Levin.
That's a fantastic addition. And we do have areas in our intro classes where you can decide that. And sometimes it's just not set in stone, to reiterate what he said, what Professor Gibbons said. So, you can have a lot of question marks. It's okay. Sometimes, as just to, kind of sum up what we're talking about, you may have to even take a step back, depending if you have those commitments, family commitments. Sometimes it's, 2 steps back, 3 steps back, 1, and then you move forward, depending. So, all good. Thank you. I'm going to move forward. LinkedIn account has always been, for many years, the professional social media platform to create a profile, different ways to join groups, to, be able to connect with different people and different organizations. It's a place to showcase your education and experience, to build. There are different areas in social media, which we talked about in one of the first slides: Facebook, Indeed, USA Jobs, and I gave you a couple in the chat box, different organizations that students definitely gravitate towards, especially because it's the entry fee is very it's reduced for students. So it's a great way to network. Wherever you are, you want to be able to keep your content professional, especially Facebook. Once something is viewed, it's very difficult to take back, especially in government work, of course. And first impressions are definitely everything when you're landing your dream job. And this is another site for networking advice. But we spend a lot of time in our intro classes talking about that. We spend time talking about first impressions and what they mean. And although many years ago, most of the time it was in person, and now it happens to be virtual, you get a definite understanding of first impressions, even virtually. So no matter where you are, you should always be keeping that in mind. Professor Gibbons, I think you told me that you wanted to add something to this one before. Is that still true?
No, it's not. You covered everything. Thank you.
Okay. So what are some of the things that you want to share, especially while you're networking? Okay. Good idea to share professional achievements and milestones. They may not be directly related to our field, but depending on what they are, and of course, you'll talk to different people before you have the interview, they may be something that you want to talk about, even if it's outside of criminal justice, even if it's an entry-level job that's, like I said, a first job. Networking and collaboration opportunities are one of the things that I think are extremely important. Wherever you keep a folder of different people that you've talked to, different people that you've run into, depending on your professors and your colleagues and in your particular profession, if it's entry level or in your volunteering or different networking from media, I would definitely keep a list of everything, because those are some of the things that you're going to want to come back to, especially when you're ready to take those next steps. Always. I think it's also a fantastic suggestion to keep different kinds of notes from different classes that you're in. A folder wherever you keep your folder, and refer back to that folder for different things, that even networking, different communication, different papers you might refer to, maybe achievements, some of the things that you've done as a student. So all of these things should, not everything fits on your resume, right? So keep note of all these different areas of opportunities. Stories don't always come to, you don't always remember your stories. Sometimes I've come from a history of corrections, and one of the areas that I, is in my experience, and they're not all positive personal stories or positive professional stories. So pick and choose, write a few notes, and jot down some of the things that maybe you're going to want to come back to, especially if it's something that if you're in an interview and you have to think very quickly on your feet, you're going to want to have good notes. Professor Gibbons, before I move to do not share.
Yes, as a matter of fact, thank you very much, Professor Levitt. I cannot stress the importance of staying positive, especially in social media. A lot of people fail to realize, okay, there's a lot of trackable items in there. You put a photo up there, you can pull a location down from it. That's a problem. Okay. You want to stay away from slang, terms like that. You want to keep everything positive. No, stay away from sharing or even commenting on controversial issues. A lot of these jobs, a lot of time is spent, okay, searching social media today. Years ago, the commonality was they'd go out and knock on the doors of your neighbors and stuff and talk to them. So you have to be very, very careful about that. Thank you, Professor Levitt.
Okay, I think Professor Gibbons covered the do not share pretty well. Um, and just to reiterate the last bullet point, you can and will be judged negatively from that. So we want to stay away from those terms. Thank you. It's very important and to understand that in our field, all fields, but in our field especially, there's overlap, there's repetition. This is the way that you understand what you are doing moving forward, presently and moving forward. So we always talk about the short term, the intermediate term, and the long term. And so all of those things may, in fact, be the same that interest you. But as we said in the first 5 minutes, they may not. So I'm not going to elaborate any more on the second bullet point, because I think Purdue Global is the best, of course, and hopefully meets everybody's needs. And many students have found that they do and move forward with a master's in higher education. We are going to have an expert talk to you about the Career Center, somebody from the Career Center right at the end of this PowerPoint. And you will be also, once you're enrolled and you're already a students here, hopefully be utilizing many different experts in the field, your student advisor. And I want to elaborate and say that you'll be also utilizing many different areas in the university that for people that may assist you. The librarians, the writing center, can't stress that enough. But especially preparing for your future, the Career Center and your student advisor. Not to say the other areas, the other people in those areas of Purdue Global, which I'm sure you're accustomed to, will help you with different sources as well. This is an area where my colleague is also going to be talking to you about the job qualifications and the steps to take. You want to be true to yourself. So we always talk about in our entry-level classes, even if you are not ready, of course, we talk about entry-level work. We talk about trying to get experience, even if you are not ready, volunteering, as we talked about. You want to be sure that the job that you are applying for, that you're preparing for, let me get the words right, you are qualified for. Professor Gibbons, would you elaborate on that, please?
Yes, thank you. When you're actually out there and you're looking for these jobs, part of your research should also really entail um, going into and looking at, okay, research the organization you wish to join. How many people work there? Okay, what is the pay range? What is the area? What are the demographics? Um, take a look at the crime stats and stuff to see exactly how things are going. Why? Because and one of the things you may come up upon with these jobs is one throughout the process, the hiring process, one of the things you're going to go through is going to be, okay, an interview. And it's going to be a personal interview. And there's different ways they can do those. They can do them in groups or they can do it individually. Okay. When you're being interviewed for a position, okay, think about the question for a couple seconds. Don't rush to answer it. Consider how that situation is going to impact the victim, okay? How it's going to impact the offender, how it will impact you as a criminal justice practitioner or your organization, depending upon the decision that you make, okay? And then what you do is you give them that scenario back to them and cover each one of those aspects. All right. What's that show? It shows that you have critical thinking skills and you're able to actually turn around and take a particular incident, dissect it, and make a good decision about which way to proceed. Thank you, Professor Levitt.
Thank you. Great addition. We're on to the networking part of preparing for a career. So one of the nice things about participating is that it works both ways. Not only do you give back, but you also feel that you also are recognized for what you do. Maybe from one person, maybe from more than one person, maybe just yourself, but it's a nice way for you to feel accomplished. And one of the ways that you can do that is by joining clubs. And we have many different areas, as you see right here: Public Safety Club, Human Services Club, Alpha Phi Sigma, Order of the Sword and Shield, Purdue Global Law Society. And there's even other areas on the Purdue Global homepage for you to become more involved as well. These are things that we want you to, these are areas that we do want you to join. And there are requirements that you can look on the homepage and reach out. We gave you our emails if you're interested. It's a fantastic way for you to network, for you to communicate, for you to give back. You'll be hearing in our breakout room from our former president, who is was part of the Public Safety Club and now is a part of the working world. And also he's going to be he is a master's student as well. And he will also be telling you about all the different benefits and the recognition that he received as president. We have, our club, tell you about a little bit about one of them, is a student-run club that has ample opportunities and different ways for students to become involved in the executive board. We have chapter meetings, executive meetings, and we have many events, as the other clubs do as well. And opportunities for professional development if you are in the field. which is, or not, which is a fantastic way to also receive recognition. It's a sometimes when you talk about professional development and you're not working in the field, it is still a great opportunity for you to start doing some research on some of the different associations that we mentioned also earlier, to see where maybe you can start attending some of the seminars. And eventually, when you are working the field, some of you already get it, you will get certain amount of hours towards your growth in that profession. It's all good. Mentorships is also a great way. Internship opportunities and network, which we've talked about earlier. Sometimes when you do graduate, often there are opportunities for you to get experience on the entry level in areas such as law enforcement, working as an intern and moving up. And when you are ready to apply for other areas, civil or sworn positions. And it will keep increasing as you move forward. And not only the ongoing professionalism, but God willing, the job opportunities as well. Professor Gibbons, you want to add something?
Yes, thank you. Professor Levitt has mentioned a couple different times, okay, like internship opportunities. A great database for opportunities is the International Association of Chiefs of Police. They actually have a database, okay, with internships. The other thing is you also have an opportunity to go out and volunteer in a lot of, especially if you're going into criminal justice, in smaller departments or smaller fire departments, okay, where you can actually turn around and actually get working knowledge and stuff. I started off as an auxiliary years and years ago, okay, for no pay. It was a volunteer position. Okay, and it was 1 day a week, and all it was initially was filing paperwork. Okay. Uh, all you had to do was show up at work, have a smile on your face, always be pleasant, uh, be dressed appropriately and do exactly what they told you to do. That actually moved up into, okay, an opening for dispatching part-time actually opened up and I started dispatching. From dispatching, I went into a part-time patrolman and the full-time and moved on to different fields within investigations. Uh, it just, that's it. Okay, that's never turn an opportunity down like that. Go see your chiefs of police, or your watch commanders in these small towns. Talk to them. They may have a position open for you, especially fire departments, folks. Fire departments are struggling today to man ambulances, to man fire trucks. And it's a great thing to put on your resume. Professor Levitt?
Yes, thank you so much for elaborating on that. Another area in law enforcement is a community service officer, CSO. Fantastic opportunity for internships where you do get paid. You may start out with a shift that is not as opportune, but it would give you an opportunity not to quit your day job sometimes, depending on their requirements. So explore, and this is what we want you to do. These are other areas for possible internships and just to start getting more involved. Some of them we already talked about. You can also look on your federal sites. There are openings. They may not be plentiful for internships, but why can't you be one of them to get that? Drug Enforcement Administration, Professor Gibbons will put that in the chat, and the FBI, U.S. Marshals, alcohol, tobacco, and firearms, depending. Yes, some of the opportunities are in Washington, D.C., but maybe not, maybe in your local areas. So we do talk about that as well. And we're positive, maybe you are the one. Okay. These are some areas also to get involved. There's many, and like as we talked about, we can also be of help with that. You can email us. Our local, I'm outside of Chicago, and some of our state prisons have had ample opportunities for volunteering. Some of them are not as close as you would want them to be, but that's not to say that you wouldn't be one of the ones that's living in that area. So go online, look at your American Correctional Association, see where your particular areas are in corrections, maybe the local sheriff, maybe the jail system, maybe the state prisons, maybe the federal prisons for opportunities. Certainly, food pantries are outside of criminal justice, but a fantastic way to give back. Homeless shelters as well. That's unfortunately pretty common. Some of the youth centers and the detention centers need help in spring and summer with some of their outward bound programs. I volunteered in education for many years while I was working full time. And as Professor Gibbons talked about, the fire department's Big Brother program. And there's also, which we didn't put on here, Professor Gibbons put in the chat, please. It's CAS. It stands for Court Appointed Special Advocate, CASA, a fantastic volunteer position. Used to be that you had, I think it was 8 or 12 hours in person. Since COVID, I believe it's online, but you can check. CASA is also in most communities. Professor Gibbons, you want to elaborate on either the disaster response?
What does CASA stand for again?
I'm sorry. Court Appointed Special Advocate.
Volunteering is that, as Professor Levitt has mentioned, is one of the things that will set your resume apart from everyone else's. Think about all the people that you know. How many people actually give to others in criminal justice, whatever aspect of criminal justice you're in fire departments, whatever. Okay. What's it all about? It's all about helping people. How do you demonstrate that and a willingness to do that? Through these volunteer programs. Thank you, Professor Levitt.
Thank you. A couple more things, and then I'm going to be introducing somebody from the Career Center. But anyway, creating a resume, one of the things that I always do is I make sure that my students have a profile on the Purdue homepage. Scroll to Career Network. Professor Gibbons will put that in the notes. And these are some of the key things that we would discuss, but they are the experts and will help you when you are ready. And hopefully you do make a profile within, I'd say, the first year for sure of your school, of your education. Okay, everybody take a copy of this, and I'm going to move forward with the next slide unless Professor Gibbons quickly wants to say something about this.
We had Devin Young ask a question about since it's volunteer, does it count as a government job in order to start establishing in the court system? No, it's a volunteer position is not actually a real job. Okay, that's why it's called volunteer in the first place, because you're really not paid for it. Okay, the government has all kinds of different positions and stuff, which are paid. Of course, the volunteer organizations, they're looking for more people to help them throughout the day and stuff and get the things done that they can't afford people to pay people for, right? As far as volunteering going, we've worked, my wife and I have worked at food networks and everything. We do work for our local church and stuff all the time. Uh, and quite honestly, when you're in these positions volunteering, okay, like I said, you want to appear always, no matter what's going on in your life, have a smile on your face, come dressed nicely, okay, always be very pleasant. Why is it? Because once you are actually going through your hiring process, you may need a recommendation. these organizations would be more than happy to give you one if you've actually helped them out. Thank you,
Thank you.
Professor Levitt.
Thank you, Professor Gibbons. Just very quickly, I do want to say that also on the Career Network site, there are opportunities for you to look at different ways to volunteer, possibly also start working in an not necessarily an internship level position, but the working your way up, job sharing and similar things like that. If you want to also talk to somebody from the Career Network on the profile, I highly advise it. These last couple slides have been on resumes. Hopefully you'll go back in the recording and take a look at them or take a quick picture. This is a great picture snapshot for you to take for resume, and also keep it for your interview, your profile for the Career Network. Okay, at this time, unless Professor Gibbons has something to say to some, I am going to introduce our expert from the Center for Career Advancement.
I'm good, thank you, Professor.
Okay, at this time, I'm going to introduce Tanya Evans, who is graciously going to be speaking from the Center for Career Advancement. Tanya, are you here tonight?
I am. Hi, everybody.
Thank you so much. I am going to let you have the floor. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Professor Levitt. Like she said, my name is Tanya Evans, and I have been with Purdue the last couple of years, and it's been so awesome. I love Purdue. We have the best of the best. And so speaking on behalf of the Center for Career Advancement, ultimately, our department motivates and empowers students through one-on-one interaction and collaboration with employers and educators. Through partnerships and individualized assistance, students develop relevant career-related skills that can pave a personalized path to career success. And we're here to support you. The CCA is dedicated to providing students with the support, tools, and services they need to broaden their career options and target the best positions for their experience level.
Are you, excuse me, Ms. Evans, are you going to, can I stop sharing this? Are you putting something up? I didn't know.
No, I'm going to continue using your screen actually, if I could, please. Could you go back?
I certainly can. And I thought that I was going fast forward. Is this the one you'd like? Okay, sorry about that.
You're good. No worries. It's the second Monday of the week. We're good.
Okay. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. So this is just an overview, a very quick overview of what the Center for Career Advancement provides. So it's 24/7 online access to the Career Network, which is located in your student portal, as we've discussed. In addition to the career specialist can assist you with occupational direction, help review your social media profiles, as well as distribute job leads and provide job search support. So just know there's definitely a lot of options that we can help you with. If you could please go to the next slide.
I certainly can.
Thank you. So the Career Network is an interactive resource on the student portal. There are just so many great features, including access to job leads, program-specific groups, and resources to help students and graduates advance in their career. The CCA team strives to connect with employers across the country to identify opportunities for students and graduates. They host monthly employer sessions, upload career-related videos, share job leads, and create content to keep students relevant in their industry. You can connect with them directly at careerservices@purdueglobal.edu or via the Career Network. If we could go to that last slide, please. Thank you so much. So we are so honored to have Dylan Fleming here with us. He is a certified medical legal death investigator. Like I said, second Monday of the week, guys. He is currently serving as a forensic autopsy technician and an interim forensic investigator at the Trumbull County Coroner's Office in Northeast Ohio. He has been working in the post-mortem care system since 2021 and received his Bachelor's of Science in Criminal Justice from Purdue Global in 2024. In addition to his professional duties, Dylan is a current graduate student at the University of Florida College of Medicine, pursuing a dual Master's of Science degree in Forensic Medicine and Veterinary Forensic Sciences.